Hello there everybody, and here we are back again in the Joe Nerd's Toy Room, here with another vintage Masters of the Universe toy review. Now, I'll explain, when I do have the packaging to a certain piece that I'm reviewing, for the most part, I will show it off, especially if it's, well, no, I think I will show it off no matter what, as long as I have it in my collection from here on in. So we're looking at Stonedar, heroic leader of the rock people. Now, this is a review that I've been looking forward to. Part of the real fun about these old packages, about these old card backs, is to look at the captions. The captions on them are sometimes they're a little bit funny, sometimes they're just interesting, sometimes they're really thought-provoking. It really makes you wonder, what did Mattel have in mind? You can kind of see Mattel's thought process, like where they had original ideas that kind of went away, and then you've got, all kinds of neat things can be learnt from these packagings. Here you'll notice this weird little blue card piece here. That actually was laying down at the bottom of the bubble here, because as you'll see a little later in the figure review, that the figure is actually a little bit on the shorter side in comparison to most Masters figures. I think he's a little bit shorter. Anyway, and this was used in order to prop him up a little bit, so he'd fit more securely in there. So, and what I really like here is this little transformation diagram. It was very, very nice, very simple, but very cute. And then on the top, it says, Invincible Boulder transforms into mighty warrior. So, and then the back is even more amusing. So the back, we get into the card art, the reverse card art. This is always something that I really, really like about Masters figures, especially, the vintage Masters. So then I'll read the caption at the top. When the rock people are in danger, Stonedar transforms into his boulder form to drive back the enemy. So it's really, really nice. As far as the artwork here, I'd say it's middle of the road. I've seen better, but I've also seen a lot worse. One thing I wanted to point out attention to is this. This always struck me as very peculiar. Is here you'll notice that the artist drew in 3 other Stonedars. So this might be an indication that in the beginning Mattel wasn't exactly sure about what they wanted to do. That kind of tells me that. Or it could have just been, it could have been Mattel maybe toying with the idea of telling kids that you could get more of these guys to make your rock warrior race. Or this could have just been the artist drawing it, didn't have the full instructions, and, a little bit of confusion took place. So who knows what it could have meant. And then you've got the instructions on the back here. I noticed that this is going a little long. I'm going to zip through this. So then one other thing I really wanted to point out, though, was the description of Rock On. Was the other Stone Warrior's description. It's really cool. So they call him Rock On, young battling boulder man. This headstrong warrior defends the peaceful rock people against all evil enemies. And that's really cool. It shows that in the Princess of Power, these guys were shown as, in the She-Ra cartoon that is, these guys were shown as a very peaceful race. And I like that. You could see that right from the get-go, Mattel had in mind for them to be a peaceful race. So that is actually a Mattel idea and not just solely a Filmation idea. So finally, get this out of the way, guys. And since you were all patient while I went through that, let me know if you's like. Let me know if you prefer just straight up the toy, or would you like to start with the packaging? Anyway, on with the toy. Now you'll notice I've got two of him here. And this is just for fun, just because I've got two, might as well, just for fun, kind of illustrate what it would look like, that whole card back art that I just showed. You know, and I didn't notice this until I just did this, but my two specimens, this is my first time putting them together, by the way. I don't know why. I kind of had this one packed away in all of my other toys, and I just had to hunt them down and find them. And you'll notice that throughout the run, it shows that Mattel wasn't actually, you know, they kind of, it changed throughout the production run. It could just be a random, you know, like it looks like there was just a paint machine that sprayed the blue paint over the gray plastic, and it looks like this one just got a little shot of the blue paint, and this one really got a monster dose of it. So, and this one ends up being pretty much mostly blue, and you can, in person, you can see just a little bit of the gray peeking through. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So anyway, let's put this one aside. This one here is my loose incomplete sample. He's got a little bit of scratching on his asteroid bits here, but other than that, he's pretty mint. Now this is my mint carded, opened version. All right, so Stonedar. Let's look at him all the way around. He's, you know, you can see all of his seams. In case some of you watching aren't very familiar with the figure, you know. So he's basically, he's kind of like, almost like a transformer. A very, very simple transformation though. All you do is, oh, and then one other thing before I transform him. You'll notice that he sits flat, and that's because there's really nothing underneath. So you can kind of see him from the underneath. But you know, come to think of it, hell, most Transformers are like that anyway. So hell, you know, that's just the way she goes. So now, transformation, very, very, very easy. What you do is you pull out the legs, and then pull up the head. The head, which is on a really nice ratcheting joint, by the way, guys, in case you're not familiar. It has a really nice ratcheting neck joint here. And then there you have him. There you have Stonedar, heroic leader of the Rock People, or the Comet Warriors. That's another interesting thing I noticed through watching the old vintage commercials again here on YouTube. Mattel, you know, they were really, in the beginning, you can really see that they were not exactly sure. They were kind of toying with how do they want to describe these guys. Are they rock people? I've seen them, I've heard them described as Comet Warriors. I believe, I'm 99% sure, I remember them calling them Comet Warriors in some of the old TV commercials for these guys. So, there you have them. You know, and another thing I'll say, as much as I like him, his partner, the other Rock Warrior that I will review someday in the future, once I have a complete sample. My Rock-On doesn't have his accessory, so I'd rather wait until some other day. Someday down the road, I'll review him once I've got him complete. So anyway, but as I was saying, he actually, as nice as he is, I always thought that Rock-On came out a little bit better sculpt-wise. He looks just a little bit nicer. He has a nicer, like, his arms look a little nicer than Stonedar's here. But you know, but you got to consider the time. This guy was most likely, he was sculpted sometime in 1985. These guys saw release in 1986, in the 1986 line. 1986, again, like the peak of Masters of the Universe's popularity. And you've got the legs sculpted in there. So I might as well, I am gotta get cracking here. We're gonna get on to accessories. So he comes with this, which is it's kind of like a solar, what did Mattel spin this as? I'm just gonna find out. It is actually a light blaster, a light blazer gun. They call this a light blazer gun. So what you do is you can have him hold it in one of two ways. You can actually plug it into his torso, like so. And it was kind of, I think Mattel kind of more pushed this as more, not so much as an offensive weapon, but more of a defensive weapon, as in his armor and this light blazer was to like temporarily blind the attackers, and again, it really goes into their whole peaceful nature. So you can have him hold on to it like that in his torso, which is kind of nice. And I think they did it this way. This way he can hold it while he's transformed into the boulder, or the meteor, you should say, in his case. Or you can take it, and you'll see there's a little handle right here, and you can plug it into his hand. And there you go. So he can hold it like this, as like a normal weapon is being held, or you can plug it into his torso, which is very, very, very unique for Masters of the Universe. So there you go. And just for fun, let's bring out the other one just to see how this would look. It's gonna look a little silly, because we all know that he's Stonedar and he's not really a generic rock person, but it looks kind of neat. It looks kind of odd, kind of different. Another thing I'm just noticing, guys, is I don't know how this is going to show up on camera, but the flesh tone of blue, wow, the flesh tone of blue on this old incomplete one I've got right here has a darker skin tone on his face, and my newer one has a lighter skin tone on his face. I'm sure you can make that out. So that's really odd. Again, I don't know if these would be considered variants. I kind of doubt it. I think it's just Mattel's, as they were going, they just changed. Things were not always as consistent as they should have been. I'm more guessing that that's more of the case. And lastly, he came with this, a really nice mini comic, Rock People to the Rescue. And I'll tell you, this mini comic, if you can ever get your hands on it and read it, it's a pleasure to look at and read. Not only the artwork is incredibly nice, like look at this shot of He-Man, punching Skeletor into Tomorrow. And you've got a really nice, spooky, enraged shot of Skeletor there. Man, really cool stuff. Yeah, so it's a really beautiful mini comic. Co-cells, look at that. That really brings you back. That's really nice. Look at that, the laser bolt. Man, I would love to have this vehicle in my collection someday. Anyway, so that's that, guys. So that is my review of Stonedar, heroic leader of the rock people. So, hope y'all enjoyed, everybody. So take care, and I will talk to you all in the very, very near future. Bye for now.